So I sent my dad on an errand yesterday, and he was very upset to find out that this was what I told him to get. Why were you upset?
Look at it.
He thinks it looks like shit, and it does, but it won't look like that forever. This is an LQ4 out of a 06 pickup truck. Let's get this thing off the truck so we can start working on it. Look at that. So my dad thinks this engine is beyond repair because it looks like this. I don't know, what do you guys think? Alright, so what you're seeing here is an LQ4 6-liter out of a 2500 HD pickup truck. This is going to be the engine that we are going to use on our Factory 5 Type 65 Shelby Daytona Coupe. I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, what a rusty piece of crap it is. Let me tell you what, when we're done with it, it's going to look great. So make sure you follow along to see what we're going to do to this thing to make it look like $1,000,000. I just put the bolt back in, not tight, just finger tight, just so we can keep everything grime free as we clean up everything else. And I will get started on taking everything else off of it. Alright. That's garbage! Wow. So, take a look at that. First pass with the wheel. Got a lot of the grime out. We're going to hit it with some more stuff. Brake cleaner, WD-40, scrub brush. Maybe a screwdriver to get into those tight spots, but first pass, not bad. Wow. Not too shabby. I mean, we're going to do this side next, but if you saw what the other side looks like, I mean, it looks like junk. You chisel away and come to find a jewel. Let's do it again. So after we chiseled away as much as we could, used a torch, burned it up a little bit. That's as prepped as I want to do it before I paint it, taped it up. And now we're going to hit it with some engine block paint. I did a little quiz on Instagram to see what people wanted to do. Choices I had were orange, Chevy orange, red to match the calipers, Ford blue, which would piss a lot of people off, or black, which that's what ultimately won, was the black. So we're going to hit it with black, put it back, see how it looks when we're done. If you're looking for a great way to support our channel, check out lowboostfilms.com. Not only does this support the channel, but you'll look great while you do it as well. We have a great selection of different types of apparel and merchandise that you guys can buy. I also have a selection of car parts and tools that we've reviewed on the channel that we know work well for sale on there as well at a good price, so make sure you check it out. One last thing before I started hitting this with paint was I hit it with some mineral spirits. It really got just the extra level of dirt off of it to make it as clean as possible so we can paint it. I tried to tape up as many of the bolt holes and openings like for water pumps as I could, and I also put some painter's tape over the actual top of the engine itself, the deck, to make sure it's all covered. Still got a long way to go, but now we have a fully nice gloss black painted block with some clean cylinders, a nice valley. We can get started on building the top end of this thing to handle some serious horsepower. So, looks pretty good. Although you can get away with using traditional cathedral port heads that would come on this engine, there's a big reason why we actually want to upgrade it and why I found LS3 heads. The LS3 heads on most of these have a smaller chamber, which you'll get a bump in compression, and they flow significantly more with the square ports than you would with the cathedral port setup. Also, the size of the intake and exhaust valve is going to actually be bigger on a square port setup than you would find on a cathedral port. So that also means you're going to flow better at higher RPM. Cathedral ports actually flow pretty well at lower RPM, but they suffer at higher RPM. And in a supercharged application, you'll make more power the higher you can rev, which is why we got square port heads. Also, you can get adapters to run cathedral port heads with an LSA supercharger, but it is kind of costly to do that too, and it's also going to rob power up top, which it has been shown to do. So we found some 823 LS3 heads, which we're going to put dual valve springs on and upgrade the trunnions on to throw on our engine. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to put these puppies on the top. I'm probably going to do this in a couple of episodes, so stick with us through the process to see how this engine goes from junk to jewel, because this engine here that I have on my E36 Turbo LS swap looked just like the one you just watched, and it came out great. If you guys can't wait until next week's episode where I do the valve springs, check out these videos that I already have ready to go.